It was a cold, foggy evening in the small town of Ravenswood. The streets were empty, and the only sound was the distant ticking of the old clock tower. Detective Henry Blackwood, known for his sharp mind and love for puzzles, sat in his cozy office, sipping on a cup of tea. His peace was interrupted by a loud knock on the door. A young woman, dressed in a long coat and holding a leather bag, stepped inside. She looked worried. "Detective Blackwood, I need your help. My uncle, Mr. Charles Whitaker, has gone missing. He's a famous architect, and I fear something terrible has happened to him." Detective Blackwood leaned forward, his interest piqued. "Tell me everything," he said. The woman, Emily Whitaker, explained that her uncle had been working on a secret project, a grand mansion for a wealthy client. 2 days ago, he left his office late at night and never returned. The police had no leads, and Emily was desperate for answers. Blackwood grabbed his hat and coat. "Take me to his office," he said. The office of Charles Whitaker was a cluttered space filled with blueprints, models of buildings, and stacks of papers. Blackwood began examining the room carefully. On the desk, he noticed a half-finished blueprint of the mansion. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a maze of rooms, hidden passages, and strange symbols. "Did your uncle mention anything unusual about this project?" Blackwood asked. Emily shook her head. "No, but he seemed stressed lately. He kept muttering about the secret of the house." Blackwood's eyes narrowed. He noticed a small, locked drawer in the desk. Using a paperclip, he picked the lock and found a diary inside. The last entry read, "I've discovered something terrible. The house is more than just a building, it's a trap. If I don't solve the mystery, I may never escape." The detective's heart raced. "We need to visit the construction site of this mansion," he said. The mansion stood on the outskirts of town, surrounded by dense woods. It was a massive structure, still under construction, with towering walls and intricate carvings. Blackwood and Emily entered cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the empty halls. As they explored, Blackwood noticed something strange. The layout of the mansion matched the blueprint perfectly, but there were subtle differences: extra doors, hidden switches, and symbols etched into the walls. It was as if the house itself was a puzzle. In the main hall, Blackwood found a large stone slab with a riddle engraved on it. "To find the truth, you must see what lies beneath the twisted tree. Follow the path where shadows fall, and listen closely to the wall." Emily looked confused, but Blackwood smiled. "This is a clue. Let's find the twisted tree." They searched the grounds and found an old, gnarled tree behind the mansion. Beneath it was a hidden trapdoor. Inside, they discovered a secret tunnel leading back into the house. The tunnel ended at a small hidden room. There, tied to a chair, was Charles Whitaker. He looked exhausted, but relieved to see them. "Uncle!" Emily cried, rushing to untie him. Blackwood quickly freed the architect and asked, "What happened here?" Charles sighed. "The client who hired me, Mr. Grayson, is not who he claims to be. He's a treasure hunter, and he believes this land holds a hidden fortune. He forced me to design the mansion as a series of traps and puzzles to protect the treasure. When I refused to cooperate, he locked me here." Blackwood's eyes gleamed. "Where is Grayson now?" Before Charles could answer, a voice echoed from the shadows. "Right here, detective." A tall, menacing figure stepped into the room. It was Mr. Grayson, holding a gun. "You're too late," he sneered. "The treasure is mine, and you'll never leave this house alive." Blackwood remained calm. "You're forgetting one thing," he said. "This house is full of traps, and I know how to use them." With a swift motion, Blackwood pulled a lever hidden in the wall. The floor beneath Grayson opened, and he fell into a pit, landing safely but trapped. The police arrived soon after and arrested Grayson. Charles Whitaker was safe, and the mystery of the mansion was solved. As they left the house, Emily thanked Blackwood. "You're a brilliant detective," she said. Blackwood smiled. It was all in the details. Every mystery has a solution, you just have to look closely. And with that, the detective returned to his office, ready for the next puzzle to solve.